are live. Okay, would you look at that? Day 2 of the series, it's fly tying. I'm gonna wait for a few people to join. I mean, we're still at 0 viewers, so I'll just get my stuff out. So, I'm not really talking to anybody, so I should probably wait. Yeah. Still nobody. Okay, so I'll just get everything ready. And if you're watching this at a later date, I'm tying some flies for some customers, or for one customer in Alaska. And yeah, just gonna grab out my vise and see what happens. Currently still 0 people. That's taking a little while. But yeah, it's early today. I finished the stream really late last night, and I'm doing another one really early, so yep. Gotta try some flies. Where's my other tools? Okay. There you go, there's my little bobbin. Got my thread. Still nobody? How do we have so many people last time then? And I had to delete that stream. That was kind of terrible. For multiple different reasons, mainly because it would not upload properly. It took way too long, it was using way too much battery off the phone, and I waited 12 hours almost, and I made no progress, so I made the hard decision to delete 200-something actually no, like 400-something watch hours, which is really essential for me to get monetized. But yeah. Oh, what did I do to this tool? How did it get bent like this? Oh, still 0 people. I'm trying to recreate that stream and get as many watch hours, but I don't think I can. Maybe I'll be able to. Still nobody 2 minutes in. That's a little strange. Am I on private right now? Check that out. But yep, straighten it out. We're gonna be tying about 10 flies. I have to check if we're actually on private or not. How do you check that? This is very interesting. Still 0 people. Okay, so I might end this a little bit short to try and figure this out, and if I was public, then I'd have to look into it, but if I was private, I'll make a new stream in a few minutes. So I'm gonna be tying some woolly buggers, which are little streamer flies for trout and salmon. Still 0 people. And we're gonna clip it into the vise, just like that. Just a little tip end of it. And we're gonna make a little body out of this thread. Just like this, excuse me. Just a little bit of the way down. Stop right there. Our scissors. Still 0 people. That is very interesting. Usually I have a few more by now. Interesting. Okay, so gotta pop out. Finally, one person. How are you? At least I feel like I'm talking to somebody now, but oh, you left. Okay. But yeah, I'm just gonna trim off this little bit of the hard end of the marabou feather. So now that I've created a little bunch in my hand, I'm gonna take it, pull it all the way down, get it in a nice little bunch, twist it, place it on to the body, to the shank of the hook. just adjust it till it looks right. Once it looks nice, I'm going to take it and wrap it in a thread just where I want it. So, it's a pretty nice tail. You can still kind of pull on it to adjust it a little bit. And you're going to do some very secure wraps right around the shank. Now that you've done that, we're going to trim it off. Just give it a little haircut. And we're going to do some more wraps. Now that I've gotten that tail, nice big furry tail. Actually, it's kind of small, but that's fine. Now I need to grab my chenille, which is kind of ribbon-like stuff, and unspool it. Pop it off. Kind of strip down the end. Wrap it up on there. Nicely, just like that. And I'm going to grab myself a hackle feather, which is a rooster tail feather. These guys right there. I'm going to grab one. Strip it down a little. Oh, I grabbed two. This one was actually a good one that I messed up. Yeah. Yeah. What? Nothing? Okay. So, one person still, please say something. What I'm gonna do now is attach the hackle feather so it's pointing backwards for now. We're gonna wrap it around to the thread so it aligns with the shank of the hook, just like I'm doing here. You want to wrap this very tightly because the hackle, the little stem of the feather, whatever you want to call it, is very slippery, and you want to do very tight wraps, that way it doesn't pull out while you're fishing it. So we're going to get all the way up to the top, stop because we're going to make a head there. Then I'm going to wrap the chenille around the shank of the hook, just like this. I've gotten to the top. I'm going to do a little loop. Secure off the rest of that chenille. Chenille is basically just a yarn with a little flashy yarn with some iridescent strands to it. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Never good. Did I secure it properly though? Big question. Seems like I did. Oh, there's the end. Get that few wraps covering it. Okay, one person still. That's nice. So what I'm gonna do is kind of fan this out, run my finger along the top of it, and what that's gonna do is kind of poke it out, make it into like a comb. That's gonna make it easier, more easily attached to the body of the fly. So just like this, you're gonna wrap it, wrap it, wrap it, wrap it, wrap it all the way up to the top. And I'm going to do some securing wraps here to secure the top of that feather. That way it does not come undone. I just realized the room lighting's really bad. Probably change that up here in a second. Now we're going to trim that edge of the feather, and I'm going to turn on my light so that way I can see. There we go. Now that this guy's almost finished, I'm going to look at him, make sure the hackle kind of skirt is looking nice. If it is, then I'm going to stop, pull out a length of yarn, grab my whip finish tool, and is this guy right there. It's a very interesting little tool. Hook onto it, go around, grab it in the back, do a few spins, put it over the head, pop it off the back, pull it down, adjust it, and secure it, just like that. Pull another length of yarn, just like that. Just like that. It's my second whip finish loop. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to cut it and then use a UV curing gel. That will secure the knots down to make sure they don't go anywhere. So I'm going to grab my UV curing gel. You can see right here. And I'm going to just put a little glop of it right on where the knot is. Just trying to be very careful because this stuff, if it gets anywhere and you hit it with UV light, it's there permanently. There we go. A little dot of it. And I'm just going to put a little on the top and the bottom to secure the threads. So all the way around. There we go, that's good. Now I'm going to grab a huge UV light, which is this guy right here. It's basically the sun. It's very bright. You don't really want to get it on your skin because you might get cancer from it. And it's not very safe to the touch. So I'm trying to limit my exposure to it. So there's a 30-second timer on this light, and once it runs out, I'll know it's done. Okay, timer's done. And that is our first fly. There's no one here to witness it, but tied one so far. Yeah, I think later I'll start doing it more for speed, so that way I can get some out and sell a couple. Yeah, now I'm just gonna trim him up. He's a pretty little guy, but he's got some hairs that are going in the wrong direction. Take the scissors to it, pull it back, kind of comb him back, or just pull them off, and that's what it kind of looks like. It's a beautiful little woolly bugger fly, and these kind of taper off in the water. It forms a nice little body around it, and it's a very streamlined, nice fly that has a lot of structure, and it looks very big in the water. So that's a nice one. I don't know where my fly box is, but that will just kind of get set off to the side, clean up a little bit. Meaning I just throw stuff in the bag that I don't need. And then we start over, make another one. Now that I have somebody here, I'll do a little more of a demonstration. So I'm using Kona hooks. These you could buy at any Bass Pro. And I don't really like the Kona hooks. I personally like this other brand of hooks. It's called Montana Fly Company. I was talking about them in last stream, and I really enjoy these hooks. They're a lot better than the Konas. Yeah, they're just a lot cheaper. They're barbless, so they do less damage to the fish, and yeah, they're just a lot nicer hooks. So I don't have them in the right size, and I just dropped a hook on the floor, which is never good. I do not know where I went. That's not good. Oh, 1 second. Hopefully it doesn't go into someone's foot. Well, I'll look for that after the stream. Yeah, we're gonna grab out another Kona hook, and since I'm gonna be doing a few of these, just pour them all out right there. And then I need to go get more hooks. That's not good. Because we were just at Bass Pro yesterday, should have picked up some. But, yeah, I'm gonna clamp that down, grab our thread, and yeah, just pull it up just like that, or wrap it up, I should say, all the way down the shank of the hook. till we're almost level with the barb, or with the tip of the hook. I'm gonna cut that and grab a piece of marabou. Not gonna be too picky this time. There we go. Any nice feather will work. Pull it off. Nice skirt right there. I've done that. I'm gonna twist, twist, place it down. Then we're gonna do some wraps. There. Secure it. Now that I've done that, I'm going to take my scissors. So far we're about 1 minute into this fly. Take my scissors and give him a little haircut. Take that off. I have no clue what that sound is. So hopefully that stops. There we go. Now that we've kind of trimmed that up, I'm going to wrap it up and taper it down into nice, even cylinder. Now that that's all done, we're gonna admire our work. Make sure everything looks good. Trim off some extra bits, and now we're gonna pick out some chenille and a hackle feather. So hackle feathers are the feathers of a rooster tail. I've said that quite a few times already, but yeah. Here we go. Gonna pull off one of our hackle feathers. You can see them here. The rooster feathers. Very interesting. For those of you that just joined, I'm tying flies, so it's making fishing lures for fly fishing, and I fly fish a lot, and I sell these flies to people. So, yep, I'm just gonna straighten out that hackle feather. Make sure it's nice and straight, just like that. And gonna. What's this? Cut it just like that, and yep, gonna attach it to the shank of the hook with our thread. Make sure to do some very tight wraps because you really need to make sure that's a secure part of the fly, and it will slip out very easily because it's the feather. Now I'm gonna take off a length of chenille, just some sparkly yarn. Take that stuff right there, chenille. Strip off the end of it, so that way it can be secured. Stripping off some of those sparkles. That way I'm just left with a bare kind of string. There. Now that I've done that, I'm gonna wrap it all the way to the tip, or all the way back, as far as I can get. Once that's secured, I can either cut it or just wrap it up, and I just chose to wrap it up. Now that I'm at the tip, that's where I'm gonna make the head of the fly, which is just a little loop with just a little loop of yarn or fly tying thread. And now I'm just going to wrap my chenille all the way up to the head, or where the head will be. That's about good. Which way do I usually wrap? Yeah, that way, okay. I need to know that for next time. Pull this guy out still. Now that that's done, I'm going to push these guys in. Adjust this arm because it does get in the way sometimes. Still don't know what it's for, but yep. Trim that guy down. Trim off that end. And we're just going to do a few wraps. Build up a nice head. Oopsies, that's not good. That almost ruined the entire fly. So, at least it didn't go too far down. Okay, so now that we've formed a nice little body, this guy's a little bit interesting looking, but the hackle will cover it up. We're just gonna kind of fluff up that feather, just like that. And we grab the end, and start wrapping it around, and it's gonna do something very cool. It makes this big little, that's contradicts itself, but yeah, we're just gonna make this, I guess I'll just call it big skirt around itself, and yeah, it's very cool. So now that I'm kind of holding in place, I'm going to wrap up this yarn, or the thread, and I'm going to spool it around, wrap it around the tip of that feather, so that way it's secure in place and my hackle skirt stays the way it is. Then I'm gonna grab that thread, gonna grab the feather, trim, other piece of the feather, trim, and this is kind of something you shouldn't do, but I guess there's nothing really stopping people. But I've never seen people do it. Clear out the eye of the hook with your whip finish tool, so that way line can pass through more easily. Now that's done, it's completely done, so I'm just gonna do a whip finish. And first ones of these I did were like a few days ago, where I learned how to do the whip finish, and they were not very good, but I'm definitely getting better at it. Need to do 2 or 3, I'll just do 2. Oops. All those feathers make you sneeze. But yep, gonna wrap it up just like that. Cut there, and gonna do a little drop of UV here. Right on the knot that gets some UV cure. Now I'm just gonna use head cement for the rest of the head because it's a lot cheaper. And it's a lot easier to apply. You can do it a lot faster. It's 30-second timer on this light, and once it runs out, I'll stop. So you'll see it power off in a few seconds. Yep, just like that. And now I'm gonna grab out my head cement. This is the head cement I use. It's made by Loon, and yeah, I do enjoy using it a lot. So what I'm gonna do, there's just a brush on the end of it. I'm just gonna brush over all those thread coats. The reason why I do this is it seals in everything that's there and just creates a solid head, so that way, like a fish cannot just tear it apart. It's like putting glue over the fly head. There we go. Now that I've glued the fly head down, I need to let it sit, so I'm not really going to touch it too much because it will come undone. But yeah, there's my finished woolly bugger. That's a pretty nice one. I'm satisfied with that. So how many have we done today? We've done 2. So here's my first, here's my second. I think there's a little bit of improvement that I've done. This was number 1, this is number 2. This one has a little bit of a fuller kind of tail to it. Like both of them are really nice though. Should make a better angle. I really need to do a very close-up angle to the vise. That would be pretty cool to do. But I'd have to do it from the other side, so I need to have like a mount up here. But yeah. Let's see. So I'm gonna do another one. Just gonna keep cranking these guys out until we finished. So yeah. Gonna clamp the hook into our vise right at that corner. Grab our thread, just like this. A little bit hard for you guys to see, but yeah, I'm trying to do a shot that shows me tying the fly. So I'm just wrapping it with a thread now, all the way down. Let's time this guy. Started at 24 minutes. Let's try and make this one less than, I don't know, say less than 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna plug off that feather, pull it all the way down. You don't want to use this part of the feather because it's very sharp and it takes up a lot of bulk. When you're tying a fly, you really want to make sure you don't put too much bulk on your the shank of your hook. That's because it'll just make it a lot harder to tie, use more thread, more materials to cover it up, and it's just more ugly. So I'm just gonna kind of comb it all the way back, get to the piece that's desired to make the tail, which is very little. There we go. Snip, snip, snip. Right there. The rest of that feather is somewhat useless unless you want to use the individual strands of it to make a dry fly, which I really don't do much. So, yep. Pulling this guy up, pulling the bobbin up, winding on the thread, and then do some loops around it. Very tight wraps. That way it gets secured. Now I'm going to cut right there. Cut right here. Cut right there. Okay, now that I've given him a little bit of a haircut, I'm gonna wrap it up, taper that end off, and that's what it's gonna look like for now. Now I'm gonna grab a piece of chenille, like some sparkly yarn, trim it right there, just like that. Nice sparkly yarn. Hey. Yes, I can see the chat, Miles. Hello. How are you? Let's see. Yes, I can see the chat. There we go. Any other questions? Should probably turn on more lights. Okay. Yes, I can see the chat. Wait, oh. I can't tell what order you're asking the questions in because it's very weird how it shows up on my end. Yes, I am, if you're wondering. My name is Conrad. Just trimming that piece of hackle feather. Gonna secure it. To the shank of the hook. I feel like there's a lot of lag. Yeah, there is. Yes, I do remember you, Miles, and I still have the pictures from when we went fishing that one time. But yes, I do remember you. So I'm gonna keep wrapping the shank of the hook up. Yeah, I think there's a lot of lag. Because, like, between the time I was watching the stream on another device yesterday, and it's about 30 seconds of lag. So even though I'm answering a question here, like right when I see it, it doesn't get answered on other people's devices for like 30 seconds. Just gonna fluff up that feather right there. And let's see, is that going the right way? Yeah, it is. If you have any other questions, Miles, feel free to ask. Yeah. Now I'm just going to whip finish the fly, which is just securing the head of it, just by doing a few wraps, and then just like that, pop it off. To that, secure it down. I'm just going to trim the thread right there. Grab our UV curing gel right there, and put a drop of it right where the knot is. Gonna grab our big UV light. But yeah, we're gonna cure the knot area so that way it doesn't come undone. There we go. Will time itself off in about 10 seconds. Because the 30-second timer will run out. There we go. Now I'm going to grab some head cement, which just helps secure the threads. Same thing that I used on the other ones. Unlike the UV curing gel, this just cures. It's just like regular glue. It cures to open air. So in about 30 minutes, the stuff will be cured and dry. Now I'm going to take the scissors to it, really just trim it up. Make sure it's nice and good looking. The hackle feathers were kind of put on the wrong way. There really is no wrong and right way to do it until you kind of figure it out. Just like that, that one is done. These flies are for salmon, fly fishing, and if you're not familiar, I can show you a few I'll show you a fly rod if you'd like. I don't know, there's no viewer interaction, so. This is a 5-weight fly rod. It has a floating line on it, and you use it to fly fish. This is a 9-foot 5-weight fly rod. It's hard to say. And the line is very thick. You can see it's a very thick line, and it helps cast very light baits. So, like on a conventional reel, you probably could not cast this fly, one of these flies, all by themselves, but with this line, it helps so you're able to cast it a lot more easily. Okay, so I'm just going to clean up a little bit. Throw everything into a bag just to keep everything organized. Yeah, I don't know, I'll see. I think I may end the stream in a few minutes, just because I need to try and upload them, and if I can't upload them, I don't get, nothing really happens with them. They get no watch hours, and I need watch hours, so yeah, and if I can't upload them because they're super long, I don't get watch hours, and it's kind of useless. I mean, it's the experience that really matters. Like, doing it is just fun for me, but I do enjoy the watch hours just because it just gets me closer to monetization. Yeah. But I do really enjoy it, even if I don't get views. So, I'll do one final fly for you guys. It's called a McFly foam egg. And it's a salmon fly, so when the salmon are kind of spawning, they will not eat anything. And what you do is you floss for them, meaning you kind of hook them without their consent, essentially. And that's it. We're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be making a fly for hooking them without their consent. Let's see. For our thread, I'll use this guy right here. Nice pink peachy fly thread, or should I just use white? Both are fine. I think I'll use. I mean, I'm kind of lazy. I don't want to thread it again. But I like the way peach will look, so I'll do peach. Let's see, where's my threading tool? No, I cannot find my, oh, right there. Gonna thread the threading tool into the bobbin, clasp it on, just like this. Just gonna spread it apart, clasp it on, grab our tag end, or your main end, sorry, of your thread. Gonna thread it through, this right here. Pull it all the way up. Just like that. Now that's pulled up, I'm going to do some wraps around head with the fly. There we go. Get nice and far back there. I'm gonna stop. This is probably one of the most simple flies to make that really requires not too much effort, and it's once you know it, it's very easy to do. Just gonna make a few twists in the foam itself, so that's the foam, twist it, set it down on the shank of the hook, halfway down, I'd say, right there. This stuff comes in multicolor, so you can do a multicolored egg if you wanted to. I made a few, I can show you guys here. This was a darker purple and an orange, and they kind of swirl together and make this cool little egg that you can use to catch salmon with, and it's basically like a pom-pom on a hook. It's very cool. And this is how to make one. Securing it very, very tightly, because that's the first step. You don't want it to be able to move around too much at all. You really don't want to move it at all. But yeah, scrunch it all up together, and then on the front side we're going to do some wraps right here, make a little head. Pivot over to the back side, do a few wraps. Then we're going to do a few figure 8 wraps, or just like around, and then do around here, do some wraps around, do some wraps, do some wraps around, kind of alternate until you've gotten a nice little pom-pom. A nice little area up there. And I'm gonna hook it with my whip finish tool, like this, do a loop around the back of it. Okay, I'm messing these up a lot today. Can you give Landon, how do you say that? Landon Kaufman a shout out. Okay, here's a shout out to Landon Kaufman. Yeah. Sorry I didn't read that earlier. I don't know when you sent that out or when you posted that. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little loop. Just like that. Just grab that in the loop. Try and do, oh my goodness. Having difficulties. Okay, I might just stop with one. This is better. Okay, now that that's secured, I'm going to do a little drop of UV cure down here on this part. Okay, I'm just gonna use UV flashlight because it's a lot more direct. and it's easier to use than the big, like, sun that I have over there. That should be good enough. So now here's the final reveal, kind of. So I want to match the length to something like this. So I'm going to measure it on there. So about that far up is how far I want to go. We're going to pull it up, right? Then I'm going to snip and hope for the best. That's essentially what you want to do. Cut, cut, cut. Oh, that's way too far up. Cut all the way. And then that should start forming something like that. Now we're gonna spread it all apart, just like this, and we'll just kind of spread all the way out and make a nice little egg shape. You just have to really pick at it for a few minutes. Tip of your scissors and just spread everything around. And then you kind of scrunch it up with your fingers, just like that. Pull it around, again, just like that. To get them both to the bottom, you kind of want to take some sort of sharp tool and just kind of thread them together. That just kind of like interlaces some of the fibers. Kind of scrunch them up together, rotate it a little bit so that way the seam isn't necessarily on the bottom, it's on the side and it's easier to work with. Just kind of twist it up. Do anything you can really to conceal that seam. I mean, the fish don't really notice it, but people do. And when you're selling it to people, they want it to be perfect looking. Okay, and that's pretty much a finished egg. It's gonna get a lot better once you work on it, but it's quite boring for you guys to watch, I'd say. Okay, and the person who's asking for a shout out, I also pinned your message, so that way people could see that. Just running my fingers through it, and yeah, it's not the prettiest little egg, but will do. Has everything that an egg really needs. Has a nice exposed eyelet, has a nice egg shape, and hooks perfectly exposed. So yeah, that's a successful egg fly. Not too bad. Yeah. Here, I'll show you guys all the flies I've tied today, and then I'll end the stream, I think, so that way I can upload it. Last one I got like 400 watch hours on, and I couldn't upload it, so that's not good. But yeah, here's the flies I've tied so far, and thank you. Miles, thank you. So, here is the egg fly. Here are the woolly buggers. They're just kind of trout streamers. I can show you a little bit more about them. That, another woolly bugger. We didn't tie too much today. I was doing it for the camera mainly, and I was trying to do a few to sell to somebody in Alaska. We are going up to Alaska in August from the 8th through the 18th, I think, so stay tuned for that. I'll be uploading a video shortly after. So yeah, that's all for today, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So I'll zoom out a little so I can talk. Okay, so yeah, pretty successful. Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. So yep, bye. I don't know how to end the stream. 1 second. Oh, there we go. Bye.